Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. And today, my room floweth over with a largish clump of Erwin Schulhoff. Schulhoff is such a cool composer. He had his 15 new minutes of fame from the Decca Antarctica Musik series, which sort of brought him back into prominence. And then a whole bunch of things started getting issued around the same time. He lived from, hang on a momentito here, 1894 to 1942. He died in a Nazi internment camp, not surprisingly. And he was a terrific composer, although we don't know where he would have gone. He was only in his late 40s when he died. And his style went from expressionist, Dadaist craziness to sort of like agitprop, communist, left-wing populism. There's all kinds of stuff here, but whatever he did was singularly brilliant. I mean, he was a real talent. He had a huge jazz period, and you hear all of these in these Overflow things. Most of my Schulhoff is actually upstairs in the main collection because I find him absolutely fascinating, including the big Superfund edition, which really should just be boxed up and reissued. That would be really nice. You get like all 5 symphonies and other things. But in the meantime, let's see what we have here. There's a bunch of Schulhoff it was issued on Orfeo. This is a collection of composers who were all killed by the Nazis in World War II, or one way or another, because they were Jewish. You've got the Schulhoff Second Symphony with its famous Scherzo alla Jazz, Pavel Haas's Study for Strings that was premiered in Theresienstadt, I believe, Gideon Klein's Partita for Strings, and Victor Ullmann's Symphony No. 2, which is based on one of his piano sonatas, and they all had to be reconstructed. But this is fascinating with the Czech Philharmonic under Gerd Albrecht, which is always good. He's always good at that stuff. Then we've got, this is like, when you move these things around, the jewel boxes get crushed, don't they? We've got the Schulhoff Concerto for Piano and Small Orchestra, which is insane. It's so much fun. It's very similar. It's in one unified movement, about 20 minutes long. It's quite similar in some respects to Ravel's Concerto for the Left Hand. It has this wild jazz interlude that's even crazier than Ravel's. It's got like a part for a typewriter and other things in it. And then it's a fantastic piece, an absolutely fantastic piece. Then we've got Antheil's A Jazz Symphony and the Gershwin Concerto in F, with Wayne Marshall conducting in Antheil and Gershwin, and Günter Schuller conducting in Schulhoff. So this is like quite a thing with Michael Rischa at piano. Wow, yeah, I'm glad I saved that. That's like really cool. Now here's one of the Antarctica Musik things, Concertos a la Jazz. I have another one of these upstairs. And you've got the Schulhoff Piano Concerto, the one we just talked about, his double concerto for flute and piano, and his concerto for string quartet. Then you've got some other piano works with Schulhoff himself playing from in Berlin in 1928. His rag music, Partita, the jazz sketches, the blues in Charleston, and his 5 jazz etudes, 3 of them, the blues, the chanson, and the tango. An important and wonderful record. This really had me going. It's with the Deutsche Kammerphilharmonie and Andreas Delfs. Wow, what great stuff. Really, really fun. Symphonies 2 and 3, and the Concerto for String Quartet and Winds. Now, the Concerto for String Quartet and Winds is kind of, Hindemith-y, if you want to think about it, or something like that, or that school of, sort of neoclassical dissonant things. The Second Symphony we just talked about, it has the Scherzo alla Jazz. And the Third Symphony is more of his sort of socialist realist stuff. So there's a stylistic range on this disc. It's on Koch. It's very, very different. It's with the Kinsel Quartet and the Staatsphilharmonie Brünn under Israel Yinon. Good stuff. Good stuff. Then we've got, Ogolala. Oh, wow. Yeah, he died in the concentration camp of Würzelburg in Bavaria. There you go. Ogolala, his ballet mysterium for chamber orchestra and a boatload of percussion. Oh my goodness, this is fun. It's with the Saarbrücken Radio Symphony Orchestra and Oliver Dochnani conducting this, and his Suite Opus 37, which is quite quite jazzy. And the Second Symphony, again, with Marcello Viotti, conductor. A lovely disc on Arte Nova Classics, which also got all cracked and smashed up there. Then there were 2 discs of Schulhoff issued by Channel Classics, featuring the Ebony Band. He did all kinds of interesting things, sometimes under a pseudonym when he wrote jazz music and music for radio and whatnot. So the first volume here has selections from his stage music to Le Bourgeois Gentilhomme. Well, we all know that, don't we, from Richard Strauss's things. But his is like crazier. It's just as much fun. Then 3 tangos, the Concerto for String Quartet and Winds, which we've talked about, and the Suite for Chamber Orchestra, which we also just talked about. And then on the second disc, we've got Orinoco, the Karaoke Foxtrot thing, the Sonata Erotica. I'm not going to even talk about that. Then something called Susi, then the Symphonia Germanica, and Bass Nachtigall, bass nightingale, which is really strange for contrabassoon solo. It has a fugue, a contrabassoon fugue, believe it or not. 10 piano pieces, and then just a whole bunch of his dance pieces that he wrote for various things. And it's, like I said, it's with the Ebony Band, and that's fun. Who's the lead? The conductor is Werner Herbers. He's the conductor on Channel Classics. Really, really cool. And then, there's so much stuff that he wrote. People don't know this stuff. This is so much fun. Menschheit, mankind, and Landschaften. These are, they're sort of based on Das Lied von der Erde type things. They're song cycle symphony things for mezzo-soprano and orchestra. And they are gorgeous. So gorgeous. This is Randy Steine, who's a very good singer, with the Trondheim Symphony under Muhai Tang on C-Max. And you also get the Zemlinsky 6 Metterlink songs. This is a beautiful record. I remember this. I thought, wow, that's really cool. So there you go. So more of the Koch-Schulhoff edition, because they had a bunch of things too. They did the symphonies with Israel Yinon. This was all with Israel Yinon. His festival prelude and his first symphony, which is really cool. It's full of Czech flavor, but with like flexitones and oriental influences. It's really special. The Suite for Chamber Orchestra, which we have talked about, the Non. And here's another Ogolala, the same Ballet Mysterium with its crapload of percussion and all sorts of other things. And the Serenade for Orchestra, Opus 18. These are with this is with the Brno State Philharmonic and the Czech State Philharmonic Orchestra of Brno. Okay, are they the same? I have no idea. It doesn't matter. And then we've got another Ogolala. You can't have too many Ogolalas. Ogolala, by the way, it's an Indian name. It's an American Indian name. The Ogolala Aquifer is one of the largest underground sources of fresh water in the United States, and it's drying out. It's under everything from like Nebraska to Arizona. It's this huge thing. And there is a county in it's Nebraska. Ogolala, Nebraska, I think it was. Yes, Ogolala County. And I got pulled over driving home from Stanford University at like 3 o'clock in the morning by the Ogolala County Sheriff's Department. And I just remember thinking, there's Ogolala. How interesting. Son of a bitch. I wound up with a ticket. We were going like 100 miles an hour over the border from Wyoming, from Pine Bluffs, Wyoming. And you go over the border and there's nothing there. You're in the Nebraska National Forest, which has like one tree and a billboard. And there was a cop behind the billboard. We were all following this, this tandem trucker because, you follow the truckers because they know where all the speed traps are. So we're all zooming across Nebraska, which exists to be zoomed across. And we all got pulled over, a whole line of us, like 10 of us at 3:30 in the morning, whatever it was. And I walked up to the front to the trucker and said, "You're supposed to know where these guys are." And he looks at me and says, "It's my first time." I said, yeah. So the cop pulls up and it says, Ogolala County Sheriff's Department on the police car, MasterCard, Visa, American Express. Obviously, they had a racket going. And the guy comes up and he says in his lovely Midwestern drawl, "Well, we accept all major credit cards, or you can come down to the Sheriff's Department and write a check, and we'll also take cash. And we have reciprocity with every state in the continental United States. And we can send you a bill." I said, "Send me a bill, please." So when I got home to Connecticut 2 days later, the bill was there. It was a racket. That's my experience of Ogolala. Then I heard this, and I was much happier. I said, "Gee, there's more to Ogolala than just Ogolala County Sheriff's Department in Nebraska." Then let's see what else we got. Chamber music by Schulhoff with Ensemble Villa Musica on MD&G. They also did a bunch of Schulhoff things. His Divertissement for oboe, clarinet, and bassoon. The Concertino for flute, piccolo, viola, and double bass. Bass Nachtigall again for contrabassoon. The Duo for violin and cello. The Sonata for flute and piano. And Die Wolkenpumpe for clarinet, bassoon, double bassoon, trumpet, percussion, and baritone, which has to be heard to be believed. Believe you me. And then we've got this one that has the suite for chamber orchestra, of which we have already mentioned about 12 times, 4 songs for soprano and orchestra, 3 pieces for string orchestra, and the double concerto for flute and piano with orchestral accompaniment and 2 horns. This is with Tritonus Vimaris under Walter Hilgers with various flute people. Solo people. And one of them was a flute person. Yes, Vali Hassa. All right, that's Schulhoff. Doesn't that sound like a fascinating collection of things, strange things, unusual things, a wide range of styles? He's really somebody worth getting to know. I kept all this stuff because I can tell you right now, most of it's already out of print. It's going to be hard to find. He had his 15 minutes of fame and everyone recorded everything in multiple versions. Then poof, it all disappears, which makes no sense to me at all. But that's life, right? In the wonderful classical music world. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.